Hey guys, what's up? It's Alec Torelli. Welcome back to Conscious Poker and a hand of the day where I'm recapping some awesome hands I played throughout my career. This one comes from Live at the Bike and excited to jump in and share this with you. But if you're new here, be sure to subscribe and like this video, turn on notifications, drop awesome content on here every week about how to take your game to the next level. This hand kicks off, we're playing 100-200, pretty big game here on Live at the Bike. And Destin, a regular in the game, loose action player, limps in the hijack, and I'm on the button with 4-3 suited. I decided to make it 1,000 here, a very big raise, just attacking Destin, attacking the limp. He limps with a wide range. He's going to play a lot of hands here, and a lot of times, frankly, it's going to go limp fold, or it's going to go limp call check fold, right? Like you only make a pair 1 out of 3 times, and he happened to have ace-5 offsuit, so that's a hand that even if it makes bottom pair, it might fold if the flop's like 5, 9, 10, he might just check fold that hand because it's not a great hand. So a lot of times I think just raise pre-flop, attack, and then bet the flop is going to work. Just pretty simple 1-2 punch. I raise, the blinds get out of the way, and Destin calls. We go heads up to the flop. The flop comes down ace 10-5. Not a great flop for me. I flop, a gut shot, but there's a flush draw on the board, and of course Destin flops 2-pair. I don't know this at the time, but this is not a great flop. I mean, a lot of hands, like if he continues here with, a suited hand is going to call. If he has like, a pair with heart, he's going to call. Maybe like 9s with the heart, it's going to peel once. Obviously any ace is going to call, and then any suited Broadway or any Broadway hand that's offsuit with a heart is going to peel as well. So a lot of hands are going to peel me here, maybe even like something like Jack 10 with a heart. So a lot of hands are going to peel, and I really don't know where I'm at on this board. It's not like a super clean board like something like King 7 deuce, where it doesn't connect it that well with a lot of hands that are limp calling, and I can just safely c-bet here and win the pot. This is a spot where I feel like I'm going to have to bet multiple streets, and I feel like I'm just piling on the aggression and not really knowing where I'm at. Does he have like ace jack with a heart, and he's just going to call me twice or 3 times? And I really have no idea where I'm at, so I'm kind of just guessing. Also, I feel like if he has air here, let's say he has 8-9 of spades, he checks the flop. If the turn he checks again, I can just bet because most of the time he's just going to check fold those hands. So I feel like checking behind here is kind of like a weird delayed c-bet type of play that I can actually get a lot more information about my opponent's hand and bet a lot more safely on turns if he checks twice. Hope that makes sense. He checks the flop. I go ahead and check behind. The turn comes at 10. He checks again. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, like if he had an ace, maybe he'd bet for protection. He'd probably bet a flush. Almost certainly he would bet trip 10s here. Maybe sometimes I'm getting check raised if he like is trapping me with a flush or like ace 10 or something. Sure, but Merry Christmas. If he has it, great. He checks. I have 4 high. At some point, I have to start betting to win this pot. I can't just like raise with 4 high and then check to the river. That's pretty ridiculous. So I go ahead and bet. I choose a big sizing here. I go 25-75. I think it's a little too big, frankly. I would say this is probably a mistake. I could go ahead and bet like 1,000 here, and if he has air, he's going to fold just the same as he would fold if I bet 25-75. I'm not sure what I was thinking at the time, frankly. This hand was a while ago. I don't actually remember why I was betting so big here, especially given his stack size. He only has like 5,000 behind. I really don't need to bet this big. I can just bet 1,000, and if he has an ace, good. He's going to call. Well, not good for me. Good to know. He's going to call. If he has 9-8 suited, that's not hearts, he's going to fold. So I could save a lot more money, risk a lot less, accomplish what I want by betting smaller. As it is, I bet 25-75. He calls, and I'm planning on really shutting down here. The river's king of hearts, and he now checks. At this point, I'm like, okay, what types of strong hearts does he have? A lot of times on the turn when this goes check call, he's going to have a suited ace, right? Let's think about it. He limped in late position. A lot of hands that limp are what? Suited aces, right? They just limp in preflop. It's a common hand to limp with. Suited ace rag on this board is like a terrible run out, right? If you have suited ace rag here, even if you have ace 5, I didn't put him on ace 5 offsuit, obviously, because I didn't expect him to limp with ace 5 offsuit, but even as ace 5 suited or ace 6 suited, ace 7, ace 8, ace 9, even ace jack, like if he has that hand, ace jack suited, he's not going to have a heart in his hand, right? Because it's suited. There's no heart combinations of ace jack suited. So most of the time, this is a check fold. Also, from my end, like, I get to the river, like, what? I mean, obviously, I have the worst hand I could have. I frankly have the nut low. So this is the worst hand I could have, which from a theory standpoint is a good candidate to bluff with. But also, like, what bluffs do I have, right? Like, how often do people put other people on a no equity bluff here, right? Like, when you see someone take this line and they show up on the river, how often is it a bluff? Like, it's very rarely a bluff here. Frankly, even I'm never really, very rare. I don't want to say never because I was bluffing, but I'm very rarely bluffing in this spot. So actually, it's a pretty good card for me, right? If I was bluffing the turn with something like a heart, like if I had queen jack with the queen of hearts or something, I got there. If I have the jack of hearts, I'm probably going to bet that on the river. If somehow I have a boat, I backed into a boat or I checked a set on the flop, I got tricky, I got there. So, I mean, a lot of hands, like I'm just not bluffing that often, and he doesn't have a big heart that often. So those were kind of the two things I was thinking here on this board. Like, how does he have a big heart? Ace queen with a heart, like does he really limp with that hand? It's really unlikely. So it's really hard for him to have the queen of hearts. It's really hard for him to have the jack of hearts, unless it's maybe ace jack with the jack of hearts. Maybe that's the one hand I'm worried about that calls me. But if he has that hand, good for him, right? I tap the table, I lose the money. So he checks, and I bet 5,000, which puts him all in. He actually only had about like 4,200. So, I mean, it's actually a pretty good spot for me because I'm only risking 4K. The pot's a lot bigger than that. And if he doesn't have a heart, I think I'm going to win this spot. So unfortunately, I was actually wrong here. Destin ends up tanking, sort of, not even really that long, and calling me with ace 5, no heart. So I'm a little bit frustrated about this hand, frankly. I was hoping that hand would fold. I guess he had a good read. Pops to him. Anytime someone makes a good call, you kind of have to just tap the table, and maybe they had something figured out. So I think we both actually played the hand pretty well, and it's just one of those hands where, like, everyone's trying to outplay everyone. Someone's got to win. This time, I got to give it to Destin. Hats off. Well done. So subscribe to this channel. Next week, I'm going to have another hand versus Destin that is very interesting as well, where we battle it out again. So I'm dropping 2 hands in a row, me versus Destin on Live at the Bike. So be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications for that. Also, if you want more awesome poker content, head over to consciouspoker.com. We have an academy starting. It's once a year we run this program. It's an 8-week program for people that want to turn poker into a profitable business. Awesome products at consciouspoker.com as well that you can check out throughout the rest of the year as well. So hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Alec Torelli. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.